How much does ISO 9001 cost? That's a question that I'm asked very frequently by a number of people, by lots of people. Really, that question ought to be in two parts. There's the cost side and there's the benefit side. So what am I going to get out of it? With any investment in your business, you are always looking at both sides and you're weighing up the cost and the benefit, and you're looking at the cost benefit equation. So you're always looking at the return on investment or your payback with any investment that you make. And that's exactly what you need to do with ISO 9001. So taking the costs, first of all, there's fixed costs that will always be present with ISO 9001. First of all, there's the certification body fees. Now these are fees that you pay to the person that gives you the certificate, and those fees vary depending on the size of your company, the complexity of what you do, the certification body themselves, and probably now wouldn't be the time to go for the cheapest option in terms of certification bodies, because a number of certification bodies will give you a benefit in themselves. So probably the thing to do is to ask your clients maybe who they would recommend, is to ask around people you know in your industry who they would recommend for a certification body. But either way, definitely what you need to do is to go for a UKAS accredited certification body. Any other certification body, it really isn't, any certificate that they provide really isn't worth the paper it's written on. So that's the certification body fees, and you pay those year in, year out. Other costs, these are very much dependent on where you're at the moment. So there's a big cost potentially depending on whether or not you need to recruit someone to manage your system. And a lot of organizations, and you'll have heard the name quality manager, so a lot of organizations will have recruited a quality manager to manage their quality management system. A lot of organizations though are moving away from that, and they're bringing in, they're outsourcing effectively that quality management function to the likes of a consultant who has the expertise and comes in and deals with all the legislative issues every so often, and the rest of the responsibilities are dealt with by the people who should be dealing with them anyway. So those are the other costs. It might well be that you're already 99% of the way there, and if you are satisfying your customers on a routine basis, if you're increasing your sales on a routine basis, the chances are that you're 90% of the way there anyway. To find out where exactly you are, there's a very good document I'm going to recommend to you called The Little Book of Quality Management, and that's available on the BSI website. It's for a nominal fee, £12 at the moment, I believe. If you get hold of that, have a read through it. That will take you through exactly what you need in terms of ISO 9001. Beyond that, what you need to do is a gap analysis on a clause by clause basis, writing down how you can demonstrate the evidence for each clause. You can do that yourselves, or if you need help, I'd be glad to come in and help you. Typically that's what does happen. A consultant comes in and helps an organization to do that part. And then beyond that is when the real work starts, and you might have a resource yourself to do that, or a consultant might come in and help you with that. So that's on the cost side. On the benefit side, all organizations will be thinking of and introduce ISO 9001 for a reason. And typically that reason is because they want to increase their sales. Many organizations do it because it allows them to tick a box in a tender document. Others know that if they have an ISO 9001 certificate, they can improve their reputation with their prospective clients. So that's a key thing. If you have ISO 9001, you'll be able to potentially increase your sales. And that's huge for a lot of clients. The other potential benefits are just as important. So you might want to sell into specific markets, and you might want to target that. So it might be things like the number of customers for your product per month into a market. And you write that down, you give it a time frame, you give it someone the responsibility to do that, and you measure that repeatedly. Or you might already have this in place already. Customer satisfaction. You might already have a measure for customer satisfaction. If not, you might want to think about getting one, something like NPS or another measure. And then you want to start targeting improvement on that. Costs. You might want to reduce costs for a particular product line, do it one at a time. And ultimately, perhaps if that all works out and you reduce your costs, you might want to pass that cost on to a customer, thereby increasing your sales again and making you more and more profitable. So all of those things are things that you can demonstrate your payback in terms of ISO 9001. But the key thing within all of that is that you'll increase your revenue and profit based on increasing customer numbers. So the final three things I want to say is that it's ISO 9001 is like any other investment. It's all about the cost benefit equation. That's key, that's what's important. You need to measure the payback just like any other investment. And you need to, when you have ISO 9001 in place, you need to use it just like any other investment that you would have. You need to use it, you need to improve it, and you need to get better at using it. So I'm Trevor Patterson from Pattersons Consulting. If I can ever be of help in the future, I'd be happy to. Thank you very much.